All right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital Nightly Strategy Podcast for April 6th, 2023. Had a good session with the new Foundations cohort that started this week. I'm doing those Thursday nights and Sunday mornings for the guys, doing focus Q&As for them on that course. We had a very good hour-long discussion about the difference between an execution risk and a position sizing risk, and how that is affected by portfolio heat and the patterns you're trading and hybrid trading and all that. And then a review of the fundamentals of the collapsing dragon, supported spring crossing and kata 2s as a way to get started quickly. Instead of waiting for the entire course to be done, you can actually start working on those patterns right away, reinforced by the things that we're doing in here. They were pretty happy. So we recorded that session. It's being added to the Foundations course. So we're going to look at the swing trades in the usual way, and these are all on 30-minute bars. So that means this distance between the gray bars is 1 day and another day, and so on. Okay. So, Alcoa, we had made bank on that one, missed the collapsing dragon, but we did notice a SSC developing intraday, and all of the metals were good, and the market was showing some resilience, and the metals were all very favorably priced on a return, like of a, if that's my stop, and this is my reasonable price target at the 10-day high, which is the blue line. Then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potential gains to 1 potential risk. And if that fails, I'm going to be short on the collapsing dragon anyway. So that's the best reward to risk I'm going to get. So natural checkpoints for me of where it might stall would be the high of today, the top of the dragon, and the PSAR flip. Similarly here. So each one of those becomes target points where if it gets there and starts to fail, I have a decision to make about, is enough enough? And probably so. So I've got my price ladder in both directions, and we've initiated with Alcoa. We'll see more of this one with a sniper trade of the day in AI when we get to that one, but there was no swing but an intraday. So this is Caterpillar, and this is the one that will not lose, I guess. I don't know. So the first entry here on the collapsing dragon, that was, so this is today. So that's day -1, day -2. So 2 days ago we initiated on the gap down and collapsing dragon with an intraday risk of about $1.50. That failed sharply all the way down to here on day 1. And so that went $8 on day 1 on $1.50 of risk. And that's about 5R plus some change. So we were 5R into it on day 1. The next day it opened and started failing again. So I treated that as a kata 2 entry. That closed here yesterday for an additional 2R on this one and 2R on that one. So there was another plus 4R on that second day. And then today it did a collapsing dragon and kept failing and closed poorly. So now we're holding 3 positions, and this is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 on the first one, 4 on the second one, 2 on the third one, 15R, 3 days, and I would not be offended, and I'm a little disappointed I didn't take some off right there. That would have been a nice way to sleep well tonight. So, but we're holding 3 positions. I think there's one more day down in it. We'll see. Cliff, like all the metals, had a morning hook and started to go. This one turned earlier than the other two. So we took the 1 unit of risk at the SSC, and that closed well. That's holding 1, 2. That's holding 2R into the close. And here's the 10-day high. So there's a whole ton of upside potential on that one if that works. Here's the natural first hesitation near the top of the day. So if this starts monkeying around and starts failing, I'm out. If it breaks through, I would consider adding a second position if that was the best idea. And then this is not much resistance. This was all free fall, so you don't see any resistance happening really till you get to about here. And so around 1830, that would be my hopeful target. I'd like to have two positions on if that's working. If this fails below the double bottom on the R10, then that's a collapsing dragon all day. So I could see a scenario tomorrow where this opens here and starts to sell off, and I exit it here, and then it keeps falling through here, so I don't trade it at all inside there, and then I get short there with a risk box of about the same size. So that's my plan for Cliff tomorrow in both directions. CVS cashed the win. This one had 1 unit of risk based on an emerging dragon. That's an emerging dragon. When it takes out the top of that, tight risk box. It closed very well yesterday. Today it resumed, made a new 10-day high, then couldn't hold it, and then exited here at the PSAR flip for 1, 2, plus 3. That's like my favorite trade. It's just 2 or 3 to 1, hold it for a couple days, orderly exit, nothing special. That looks like noise on a daily chart, to be honest. You know, if we look at, let me turn off all the extra junk. So that little trade was a 2-day trade. That's what 3R looks like. And this is early days. Like, this doesn't get serious resistance till about 82. So there could very well be another resumption tomorrow, but I'll take 3R out of that pattern all day. That hardly even gets your attention. On a 3-day bar, look at this thing, is just starting to show you the RLXD, the swing low, has made it through the dragon. Tomorrow it'll PSAR flip, and then it's here, 88. And then probably 98. So this could be a nice long move here on CVS, which was a Godzilla. Thank you. Thank you, Godzilla. And in terms of a resumption for tomorrow, I would not be surprised at all to see, you know, you had this really nice move, orderly exit, shake out the weak hands, and then close pretty well. If this continues on tomorrow, this is going to end up looking like the R10 rolling over here, and then that would look, so an entry somewhere in here tomorrow would be like a Kata 2. So I'm envisioning some of these different scenarios. Yeah, Greg G, what those calls for the foundations guys are for foundation students in the current cohort. I owe them that since they paid for the course. the recordings get added to the course. So nothing is ever lost. Next up is Dish Network, and this is part of the Godzilla pattern where we had one short, then and then today I just took this one, took the Kata 2, and it was a gift, and it gave me a 1, 2, 3 exit. I was just as happy to get out of that for 2R and leave the rest of it alone. It was just like, hey, here's 2R. You take it. Devon Energy. So this was yesterday. Started with a Kata 2. Standard risk to the PSAR. It closed very well. Today it just kind of went sideways and then timed out with the PSAR exit for about 0.5. Routine. Electronic Arts, this was the 39R win. And this is the pause that refreshes. We're just trying to get back into the zero state after that explosion. The most important thing is that it did not fail. This is all holding. So any breakout above this, get right back on the horse. A failure below here, I would consider as a way to maybe get to here, and then here, and then here. So 3 legs down, leg 1, leg 2, leg 3. We'll see. Emerging markets, standard SSC entry today. It failed to fail further in this consolidation. After that failure, it did not fail. It stabilized. It made a PSAR flip. Standard risk, routine play. I would not be offended if you just took 1R and no overnight risk, but I'm going to hold it. I like that it's holding right here, and if it can make a new 10-day high, that thing could really go. Ethereum is just getting it done. Look at this rascal. Let's go out to the daily. Yes, sir. 3-day. Look at this beauty on the 3-day. Kata 2s galore. I told you before about our earlier entry at 550. And that thing has done nothing but go. That's about an 80% gain right now. Here's the next consolidation, up around 11. And it has cleared the previous hump. What's going to stop it? None of these guys want to sell. I don't want to sell. I'm looking to add positions. And then if it gets above 11, I will recalibrate my expectations by looking at the 9-day. Oh, beauty. Where does that $5.50 entry come from? Right in here. Confirming here. And the PSAR has flipped. That's 9-day bars. So this is 4 bars times 9 days. That's a 36-day trend just starting to go. And here is the next resistance at about 12. Come on, 40. I almost got lost in a dream right there on Ethereum. Thinking about 40 on that one. If Ethereum gets back to 40, that could cause a change in my life. All right, next up, Mexico. Harsh winter, bottoms out, enters the dragon, leaves the dragon, PSAR flips. What would we call that entry? SSC all day. Standard risk, in this case, to the bottom of the dragon. Because we're on a 30-minute chart, the bottom of the dragon is a legitimate standard risk rather than going all the way to the bottom of the R10, which is appropriate for a 3-minute. It's also the standard risk that we've been using all along. And this thing peaked, closed well here. Still, it's up about +1. I'm looking for more. It has to get above 59.50 to be very interesting. That's where I'm looking to add a second. And then if it gets above about, say, 60 and testing the 10-day high, look out above Mexico on the way. Brazil, just stalking. This is becoming a 2-day sideways quiet channel. Look how tight the box is between the PSAR flips. That's how you know it's an SSC. If the wiggling of the RL10 didn't tell you, that would tell you. And it's gone from winter to spring. Remember, we're using the MACD histogram and the 4 seasons of MACD histogram to color code the RL10 so that I don't have to show it down here with MACD histogram. I can get a wider view of price to see a little more clearly what's going on. But the color coding is coming from the 4 seasons of MACD histogram, and that just helps me see where it is on that longer term seasonality. So nothing in Brazil. Next up, Intel. That's also becoming a sideways quiet channel. I think that it's just it's enjoying the fruits of its labor. That was a long, hard slog in Intel from 25 to 32. I mean, that's a 33% gain. You know, if you're just in 30 days, that's a pretty good piece of work that's gone through some phases. Leg 1, leg 2, a recovery, consolidation, leg 3, and a consolidation. So it feels like the easy money is over, if there's such a thing as easy money. I don't think there is. But, I mean, look how far it's come from the 10-day low to the 10-day high. It's entitled to take a little rest. And if we saw weakness in tech, I wouldn't be surprised to see a trade there. I would love to see more juice going into tech and then having this lead the way with a breakout above the 10-day high. I mean, a guy can dream. But no trade in Intel for right now. IP, no trade. IYR, no trade. That's the sideways quiet channel, I'm noticing, has now gotten some widening amplitude. So if this keeps going like that, we could very well see this thing get back into a trade. But for right now, it's just idling. KRE is the regional banks, and we had a short that we initiated 2 days ago. It suffered to here, and then today at the open at PSAR flipped, so we cashed +1. They don't feel like they're running away. I think the weakness is rolling over into the big banks, and Trader X and I are looking at symbol BX, which is Blackstone, and that's that enormous conglomeration of money, the root of all evil, and they're suffering because they're not redeeming the demands for cashing out people's real estate investment trusts. They're only about 15% of the requests for redemption have they honored yet. They're allowed to do that. So there's a lot of people angry with them for not getting their money out. And that could lead to an impact on their earnings. So we're looking at BX as a longer-term trade, you know, like on larger financial services, as some weakness in there. But the regional banks themselves, the smaller banks, it looks like it's starting to stabilize. Marijuana, we had a nice 2-day trade here on two positions, which we got out of. Missed this one. Missed the PSAR flip for an SSE. That was a nice trade that was available today. I just didn't get it. But that's one of those where we were trading this thing up around 7 and 6, and now it has come all the way down to 5 and found a little modicum of support. So I would not be surprised to see this resume and give us something like a COTA 2 tomorrow with a mechanical entry there. So I'll be ready for that. I mean, I don't think it's going to zero. It's legal. Clean energy. This was also the tail end of a nice trade that we covered yesterday. There was one more little piece in it, and I thought hard about that PSAR flip like an SSC because it was holding support here. The last time it was here, it gave us that. Did not have the will. But tomorrow, if it breaks above here, I will have the will. So I think there's still room for the upside. And then if it breaks below this double bottom here, that's an instant short. I won't even have to think twice. Because that's a collapsing dragon. That's my favorite. Rivian. Sideways quiet channel of 2 days developing. I like the short. I will take the long. I think it's ready. 2 days of consolidation on these usually feels like about enough. The S&P, just for reference, stabilizing in a COTA 2 and has just entered the summer. So you see the summer and fall, and then it rolls over into the winter. Doesn't fail further. Gives us a spring. That was where the entry should have been, Kenny, at 407. Nice closure today, and it's in the summer and ready to continue. So I like that. Treasuries, I just missed this trade altogether. I got two positions and counted myself lucky, but I missed the COTA 2 and the COTA 2 and the COTA 2. So I left the same trade was available here, and I just missed it. But this is a tight box stabilizing. It did that here as well, and it followed that path. So this could come back to here, or this could be leg 1 and leg 2 and hoping for leg 3. So we'll play that one. If there's no better ideas, I can put a nice tight wrist box on this and play it short or long, and maybe that's what we'll do tomorrow. I think I might do that. Tesla, on the other hand, I tried another effort on the the SSC. I tried an SSC here. It failed. The revenge trade for stop and reverse covered that. It sold off to here, and I just am the eternal optimist, an Elon Musk fanboy. So standard risk, and up we go. It has to get through 192 in order to get to 200, in order to get to 208. So it starts here tomorrow. Let's go, boys. U.S. Steel. The SSC, along with the other metals, they were all very much oversold because they were down here around the 10-day low compared to the 10-day high. So here's the SSC out of that. I like it. I like this position. We're about +1, and this is where we're going to make some money inside here. It starts getting a little tense and nervous up in here, but here's some fat middle that we're well positioned on, so I like all that. So pretty happy with our posture on the swings. We'll shift to the intraday. Sniper trade of the day. So just as a point of reference, I should probably have I needed my my mask on right here, right? So this is AI. This is that artificial intelligence company, right? So yesterday, I mean, let's review the bidding on AI because that's kind of a special case. So AI had this thing. It was enormously good for a long while, and then right at the peak of its powers, almost by design, after this amazing run up from 24 to 34, a hedge fund says, you know what? And they're short. These guys have financial accounting irregularities. The next day it gapped down and sold off 26%, and that's probably where he covered. And then yesterday it sold off another 13%, and that's where we covered. We had this one short and covered, intraday only. And then on the resumption of the collapsing dragon, short and covered, no overnight risk. And then today, it opens down here, morning hook, and gives a plus 9%. So that's cool. The intraday, resetting each morning and evening now allows us to get into this trade with no directional bias. And this is what that looks like. So now we're on AI on the 3-minute, the tactical. The range stat on it is $4. That's this move. Here to here is $4. That's the maximum reasonable intraday move. 1/10 of that is 40 cents, and that's the R10, and that's sort of our calibrated 3-minute chart standard unit of risk. It's 1/10 of the maximum reasonable intraday range. So here's where it closed. Here's the OR3. Second bar, it starts collapsing, so I get short with a standard risk. For demonstration purposes, I take the whole 1 hour loss. I could have scratched, but I'll take the 1 hour loss just for the, for the love of the game. And then that becomes a stop and reverse because you get a PSAR flip and it's so close to the OR3, why not? So I put my standard risk, it's the same risk region, only now we're long with -1 in hand. Check or hold. Come on, Kenny, stop doing that. Why is it doing that? Oh, I know why. Sorry. I was hitting the wrong box. All right. So we get that thing moves out smartly. And that's about 2R in hand. It consolidates and then takes off, new high of the day. So I add the second position here. Check or hold. Now the R10 is rolled over. Take the exit on a 1, 2, 3 exit at the edge of the dragon. So just using our little calibrated tool of 1 hour of risk, that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 on the first one. 1, 2, 2 on the second one. So that's about 6.5. Check or hold. And we get the -1. So we are net 5.5 right now. Check or hold. And what is shaping up for us now? looking for a Kata 2. This is premature because the R10 is just entering the dragon in here. So somewhere in here, if this price continues, I should get a Kata 2 in there somewhere. But my default is don't let it get past the emerging dragon. That while I'm waiting for the Kata 2 and the RL10 to confirm, if this price goes through this, just buy it with an emerging, hold your nose and buy it the emerging dragon. Okay? It pulls back and finds support and then continues. So we end up getting a little better entry. Standard risk box. Breaks above the emerging dragon, rolls over and exits for about +1. So with our 5.5 and a 1, we're at about 6.5. On this symbol AI, that's not even part of our permanent portfolio. It's just the opportunity is just continuing to go. So I'm not in any hurry for anything else. So 6.5 on the sniper trade of the day. Pure opportunity and scenario planning, trade framing, responding with standard descriptive statistics, standard framing for this new raw material. And now you've seen this thing being traded in both directions over the last 3 days, and it's given 20 or 30 R just based on the volatility that made it in play. So since I'm interested in AI lately, I'm probably going to add it to my permanent herd because I sort of like it now. I'm emotionally attached to it. So that's it. Let's take a look at what the fellas did today. Now this is free chicken, guys. When you make it easy for me to coach you for the benefit of others, then I do. So Woj posted some charts today, so we will coach him. Devon Energy. He goes for the short, takes the 1 hour loss. This should be a stop and reverse. He waits for an additional R of confirmation, and that produces a scratch instead of a 1.1 R, which would have offset this one. Couple micro losses, so net minus 1.2. Net of a half loss in Tesla. And again, Tesla, this should be, here's your Kata 2 entry, or here, not here. And then with the standard exit somewhere around in here, either one of those makes money, and you won't lose money on Tesla. He kept trying to make Tesla work. There's a quick scratch. There's a Kata 2 that's available. There's a Kata 2 that's available. He waits for this one, takes a micro loss. So I feel like we didn't exploit Tesla's efforts to reward us much today. But U.S. Steel gives us a fraction, and he's grinding in here. And I think, I like the short on a collapsing dragon. I think you should have scratched here instead of taking the 0.6 loss. I like this as a long. I like the re-entry. You're trying. Your timing was a little off. The Kata 2 does pay off, and that's where he does get paid his fraction. And he makes 1.1 on NVIDIA with a nice move and a nice move and a nice move. So he's about scratching for the day, and he's up 17 for the week. So just keep firing. You don't have to be right. Just don't be wrong for too long. We'll shift to the reports now. Sorry, I thought I had it loaded up. All right, so we are got dashboard 1 up in here. Bullish quiet, that's good. Really strong NDX numbers, that's all good. Risk on, that's good. Green bullish, that's very good. So we are not overextended on the volatility index there. So, fellas, this is as nice as it gets. Early days of a growing bull. Walmart, Microsoft, Coke, Diamonds, the leaders, as you would expect. Dow tactical summary. Caterpillar, that's that three bagger. I think if I would do it again, I would probably cash that. And I got 3 positions on. That makes me nervous. I should have gotten rid of 2, and then look to re-enter. The same thing I did with Electronic Arts, but that felt like there could be more. We'll see. Microsoft getting it done. Up 2.5% today. Good Lord. How do I miss that? Because I'm chasing these little guys. Oh, God. That's Microsoft making it look easy. God bless America. 30-minute chart. This is me flogging myself. PSAR flip with a COTA 2. Okay, that's how you miss 5R, by not paying attention. Good. Span of control. I forgive myself. And Walmart. Well, since I'm into self-flagellation right now, let's... Yep. Opens here. PSAR flip. Winter turns to spring. That's a 2-day move in Walmart. On this much of a risk box. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breaking out of a new 10-day high. And Walmart in his daily channel is well above the emerging dragon. And here is the next target. That's the 150-day high. If that breaks through 154, what's it? 3 days, still got plenty of room. The 9-day, oh yeah. This entire complex right here. Now, this is the max excursion up. That's the max excursion down. It had one little run, and it's starting a second one. So this thing can very easily get to 160. And if it gets to 160, who's going to sell Walmart? Nobody. All-time high. How do you not love Walmart at that price? Man, man, oh man. If wishes were fishes, we'd all be happy. All right. Back to the grind. Can always get better. The defensive plays, healthcare, utilities are getting it done. Agriculture getting it done. And even treasuries. So handful of auto framers. And there's some room right now in mid caps are lagging, and so are the small caps. So inside the U.S., there's a stealth trade available in the mid caps and the small caps, which have not caught up. Sorry about that. Wait a minute. Standard work in the auto framer and the squeezes. I'm not going to dwell on that. Although there's a lot of squeeze plays in there. Godzilla, our best friend. 4 in the S&P 500, all stealthy. VXX, that's the inverse volatility, and that's just getting slaughtered. That's good for the long side, by the way. That's what is helping to support this baby bull that we are experiencing right now. Standard work on the movers. Nothing special in there. Notice the winners. Microsoft, Walmart, Ethereum. Whoa. Treasuries, healthcare, Europe. Europe is better than the U.S. over the last 3 years. And there's the Euro-Asia blend. Note it's better than the U.S. And last but not least, our frog list of trading value, guys. Large daily range percentages and consistent frog quality numbers gives you this kind of ranking based on tradability. Tesla, marijuana, clean energy, Devon Energy, NVIDIA, Texas Instruments. Yep, there's Intel. Intel's starting to drift down the list a little bit. There's our old reliable buddies. And Caterpillar acting like a young critter. Look at that average daily range. That's why I think there's another day left in them. All right, that's everything we got for today. We'll get this published and posted.